What up, Whiskey Ginger fans? Welcome back to the show. If it's your first time joining the show, welcome to the show. We got a good one for you today. Like my man Steve Harvey done say, it's Gabriel Iglesias. My man Fluffy is on the show. So happy to have this guy on. Watch his special right now, Stadium Fluffy, available on Netflix. Also, I want to let you know, I'm coming to Boston. I've been talking about it on the show for a while. I'm coming to Boston for New Year's Eve and New Year's Eve. Please go get those tickets right now. It's my last show of the year. I'm not going to be touring for quite a while. So Boston, come out and see your boy in Boston. New Year's Eve and New Year's Eve at the Wilbur Theater. AndrewSantino.com for those tickets. AndrewSantino.com for the tickets. Enough rambling from me. Let's go to the episode and see Fluffy.
In here, we pour whisk, 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 whisk.
You're that creature in the ginger beard.
Sturdy and ginger.
Like vampires, the ginger gene is a curse.
Gingers are beautiful.
You owe me $5 for the whiskey and $75 for the horse.
Gingers? Oh, hell no.
This whiskey is excellent.
Ginger. I like gingers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Whiskey Ginger. My guest today is one of my favorite people on earth. I say that for all my guests, but I mean it once again today. It is the first time on the show, the first time I've met the gentleman, Fluffy himself, Gabriel Iglesias. Thank you for coming. Cheers to you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Clinks.
Sorry I was late.
You weren't late.
Yeah.
Time is of the essence.
Joe, the editor, is going to make sure that I'm not late for this, right? We're starting, everything's cool?
Yeah, Joe,
It's I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, no, you weren't late. You were casually lost.
I was casually lost.
Yeah, and that's okay. You got to go see some other parts of the city on your way here.
Yeah, so just so you know, your address with the different zip code is actually Griffith Park.
Okay, nice. And we'll put our real address right here. Joe, show everybody where the studio is right there. We'll just put out the real address so people see it. You were late, but you came with your pup, with Risa.
I don't know if you could see her. She's in a basically an old school Jake the Snake bag. It's like a little sleeping bag.
Yeah, a little tiny. It's a little tiny on the go. Here, let me. I'll do that. Just close.
Little tiny on the go.
Tiny on the go. A little on the go. A little on the go blanket that says love all over it. Risa, right?
Yes, she's 17 years old, Chihuahua.
17 years old.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. By the way, I wore my Dodger blue for you, just for you.
Thank you.
And made this blue just for you, because if anybody who doesn't know isn't on planet Earth and awake, but you have a special out right now, Stadium Fluffy, on Netflix. You like this,
I feel
Jazz?
like I just took a hit of a cigarette.
Yeah.
I felt the need to blow air.
After you take a hit of this, you got to blow it out a little bit. The special's great. I watched it. 2 hours. I mean, you're a machine.
I know, right?
Have you ever done a special under an hour or at just an hour or no?
For Comedy Central, yes. Back in the day, they were very strict on the time because with Comedy Central, you got to make time for commercials.
Right.
So the show itself was probably 44 minutes. Because they got, if it's a 1 hour special, you're doing about 44 minutes.
I remember that. When I did my half hour with them, and you 22.5.
22, yeah, exactly.
Like that. And when you first do it, you tape 30, sometimes 35. I taped 34 minutes or something.
And then
you
snip,
realize,
snip.
you're like, oh my God, they're just going to slice this to pieces. So then they were like, make sure that you have overage so you can, keep in a joke that you love and then throw out one where you're like, nah, it wasn't.
It's painful when they do it like that. That's why I love the creativity and the freedom that you have over at Netflix.
Freedom, baby.
Freedom!
It's the greatest country in the world. America. Yeah, no, it is true, but it's great. Go watch it. Everyone that's watching this now has probably either seen it by now, but fantastic to do something at Dodger Stadium. Impressive, intimidating maybe. I mean, I talked to Bill Burr about, him playing Boston, same to you playing here, similar regard. And I think, I texted him and I was like, what an amazing feat. Like, what a great feeling. And I was like, never a doubt. You know what I mean? And he was like, few doubts. And I was like, even still at that level, it's still a little intimidating because it's just so the sheer magnitude of something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's not something that you do every day. And props to Bill for playing Fenway.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's one of those where it's like, a club is, you go from a club to a theater to a bigger theater to an arena, and then,
what's next?
What's next?
What is next for you?
Stadium.
You going to play in Mars? What are you going to do? You're going to be on
nice, right?
Broadcasting?
I got to make friends with Elon, so I'm going to get on Twitter right now and give him a shout out.
Nah.
See if I can.
I think you're good without him. I don't think you need Elon. I think you're doing it right.
Well, if I want to do some space shows, him or Bezos, so I got to reach out to one of the two.
Yeah, that's right.
NASA's not taking Mexicans to space.
Not anymore.
Not yet. No.
Have they ever? No, not true.
I think maybe one made it up there.
Did he ever come back?
I don't know, man.
You left me, eh? He's still disappearing in space. No, but it is an incredible feat, and props to you. Heavy props to be able to do that, and also, truth be told, to make the special feel intimate, even though it's such a big venue, because it's shot very well. It looks beautiful, and it doesn't feel cavernous, and you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like big and empty and open as it literally is. So
I was very fortunate that I've had the same director, same production company from day one.
oh wow.
All of my specials have been done by the same group of people, and it was basically like a celebration at the end, which was, we already know each other's, how we work.
Yeah.
And so it was like, it was the biggest show they've ever done too. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, all right, we're all in this together. We're all growing together. And it's been since 2007 when we did the first special for Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Hot and Fluffy. And now, it was like, hey, we made it. We graduated.
Wow. That's wild. That's more
We're
than
looking at each
graduation.
other at the end of the night. We're like, can't believe we're all here.
I think that's more than a graduation. That's med school. I think you've gotten a few
awesome.
degrees. Yeah, that's to me that's I'm a Chicago kid, I couldn't even imagine playing Wrigley would be wild, but it's, theaters are good for now, but Wrigley would be, to me, that would be my pinnacle. Cause you're like, you're a Southern California kid, but you're born San Diego, or you born in LA?
I was born in San Diego, but I've never, I'm a Dodgers fan. I'm not a Padres fan.
Sure.
I respect the Padres for what they did.
Yeah.
But I'm not that, I'm not going to bandwagon all of a sudden just because they beat the Dodgers.
No, good for
It's
you.
like,
Yeah.
Same thing. Chargers, it's like,
The says it all. Chargers. Should that be their slogan? The Los Angeles Chargers.
So I mean, anybody that wears bolts, you are a diehard. You are.
Yeah, they really are.
That is a real fan. It's easy to be a Rams fan because they're champions and they're
Sure.
a great team. Been a big, awesome team for a while. It's easy to be a Patriots fan or a Bucks fan,
Sure.
But man, like who's the biggest, most hardcore fan? Detroit Lions fans.
No, I know my
Those
neighbor.
are real fans right there.
Yeah.
That's
tough.
Those are fans.
Well, I'm tough to be a Bears fan, but my neighbor is a Lions fan.
But at least you can you can go back to those the 85 Bears or remember that one year or this and that. You know what I mean? There's
but 40 years is catching up to us. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like we had a thing, but it's been so long now that you're like, I don't even know if we can call back to it. It was a long. Well, we went to the Super Bowl in between then, but also took an L, so that's tough.
I always feel like they've been really good contenders.
We're trying our best.
Yeah.
We're trying our best. We're trying our best, man. But I support LA teams. Been living here for so long that I just love going to see, games here. I mean, the only team that I kind of really am gung ho for is the Dodgers because baseball is my number one.
So if you did get to do a stadium, would you want to do Wrigley? Would you want to do Soldier Field? Would you want to do where the White Sox play? I want to say it's Comiskey.
It's called Loser
No.
Park. I think it's called Loser Park. I
Nice.
think that's what they really. No,
That's what the Cubs fans call it, right?
It used to be called. Yeah, no, it used to be called Comiskey. Then it was called U.S. Cellular Field. Now it's called. Honestly, I genuinely don't know. They've changed the name. It's a corporate takeover. You know what I mean? It's whatever the PNC.com. It's all these names now get changed to whatever corporate entity. But I don't know what it's called. But I would play. Wrigley probably. Genuinely is the one I'd want to go to. Soldier Field wouldn't have as much of a connection to me. It's also going to be gone soon, so I don't think they're going to move out to the suburbs.
Oh,
the Bears.
okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, we got a place called Arlington that has an old racetrack at it, and
Okay.
they've taken over the lot for that land, and so they're going to move it from.
They're going to make
downtown
something
there.
very impressive. Well, it's going to be new.
It'll be brand new. We need it because they put a spaceship inside Soldier Field and it looks absurd. It's so dumb. It's like when somebody tricks out a Civic. They put the Civic is $6,000 and they put $9,000 into tricking it out, and you're like, dude, you could have
wow.
you could have shifted the focus here and not done that. That's what it looks like. It looks like they did too much. You're doing too much, but they're moving to the suburbs, and a lot of people got mad because they're like, it's out of the city and all this stuff, but they need a new space. There isn't any space downtown. And I mean, look at LA, moving just south to Inglewood. Look what that did. I mean, that stadium is unbelievable.
It is. It is an unbelievable stadium.
Stunning.
I've been there for a couple concerts.
Yeah.
And wow,
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Man. I've seen a couple of games, and it's just like, I was never
that
so
giant
used to that.
screen that hangs from the ceiling is
Unreal.
just it's
well, you find
incredible.
yourself staring at that more than looking right down at the field. I mean, I was
Most-
down on the field looking right up at the screen.
How old are you?
Oh my God, I didn't. 39.
Okay, yeah.
39.
See, your eyesight. You want to look at what's easier to see. You want to strain your eyes
Yeah.
and try to look at the guys on the field, or hey, look at that, nice and clear.
I can take off my glasses and look up. I don't have to put my
Yeah,
contacts.
I
in.
need prescription for distance, so
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah. As you're at that stage. How about at night when you drive? Do you get? The
I
blurries?
need nighttime drivers.
It's a bummer, isn't
Yeah,
it?
right here I'm good, but
Yeah, this close. This is fine.
Close, this is fine.
A couple of
I
sips
can
of
read
this
my
stuff,
phone,
though.
no problem.
This clears up my focus.
I can read everything on the walls, no problem. But anything further than outside of the room,
Outside of this
issue.
room,
Yeah,
that's it.
I have an eye problem.
But shouldn't that be this test when you go get your eyes checked? They're like, can you see everything in this room? Yeah, you're fine. Get out of here. Don't worry about it. How far do you need to see?
You need to be able to read the signs when you're getting off the freeway. Like, hey, am I close?
But you know what it is. You know, you
I mean,
recognize it.
clearly today I need
Today you needed
I
glasses.
needed my glasses.
Yeah.
I needed my glasses today.
But you're a Southern California boy, which is why I think that meant so much, the Dodger Stadium thing. And now, I think it's one of those things where it's hard to explain to people that don't do stand up. But when you do something huge and you have a big accomplishment, everybody always is like, "What, how do you feel? What's it like?" And there's no way to explain it because afterwards you don't feel the same as when you're inside of it. Like when you're doing it, when you were taping it, that's where the buzz is. Afterwards, it's not as much of a high anymore. Like to me, when you're doing it is incredible. But when someone asks you after, like, how is it? You're like, it's great. But you can't really describe what's going on while you're up there. You know what I mean?
For me, I felt like, people say that they've had, I remember this was a good day. This was a great day. This was an awesome day. But it's not every day you get to document the greatest day and moment of your life.
That's it for you.
That was it for me right there.
Wow. That was top of the charts.
That was top of the charts. And I've been fortunate that I've had some pretty incredible moments over the last 25 years of doing stand-up.
Yeah.
But for my career, that was definitely the peak. But for my just life in general, I'm standing there on that stage and I'm looking around at one point doing my set. And I wasn't nervous, which is crazy because you would think that I would be. I was not nervous. I was so comfortable and so relaxed on that stage. But at one point, I see the Goodyear blimp going overhead, and it's got my face on it. And then it starts flashing my name as I'm trying to do my set. And I'm like, I'm visually being heckled by a blimp. And I stopped my set, and I pulled out my phone, and they caught it in the special.
Yeah.
And I just started recording the blimp. I said, I'm sorry, people, but it's not every day that
Your face is on the
my
Goodyear
face is on a blimp going over a baseball stadium where I grew up coming, and it was just like, wow, it was mind blowing, and it felt surreal. When I got off stage, I was just like, I couldn't believe that it happened.
That's what I mean. It's hard to articulate what that is. It's like, how do you even? By the way, the blimp should have said Ice Cube's a pimp.
Nice.
You know that.
I thought about it.
Yeah, it should have said Ice Cube's a pimp, and you know it, and I know it. You even saw those lights.
Because when I was up there, I said it. I said,
Yeah.
I said the line about
Ice Cube is a pimp.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, it's hard. I think it's hard to articulate to people that feeling is what I mean because it's hard to say it in words what that does to you when all those people are there locked into you.
And I think that because it took so many years to get to that point, I don't think I would have had the same level of appreciation for that if it would have taken a couple years.
Sure, right.
I firmly believe that this generation is going to miss out on the struggle.
Yeah.
I think that everything is expected to happen too fast, and I think you need to fight, man. You need to really just claw and scratch and not have and want. And how bad do you want to make it happen? And it's just year after year after year after year. And some years were great, some years weren't. And it's just like after 25 years to have the biggest moment of my career happen at home. There were so many people that were at that concert that remember going to see me do shows at Holes in the Wall. Mm-hmm. People were like, dude, I remember seeing you perform in garages.
Wow.
That's like, it felt like it was a celebration where everybody was part of it. It wasn't me going out there like, look what I did. It was, look what we did.
Right.
And that was the greatest part because even at the end of the night when I said, thank you, good night, and the show was over and there's confetti flying and the cameras are going and stuff like that, as soon as the music stopped, I didn't get off the stage. I stayed on the stage and I started drinking. And then I said, kick the music. And I brought my friends out on stage and the crowd did not leave.
Great.
They stayed there and they celebrated with me.
Oh, that's great, man.
That's
wild.
And then we just started sharing stories. I started passing the mic around. We started sharing stories. You're not going to see that in the special.
Right.
You're not going to see it in the special because I think by the time I got off, it was about 3 hours and 10 minutes. and the special was 155. So they had to chop off basically the celebration at
Another
the end.
hour of fun.
Yeah, and I got fined. I got fined by Dodger Stadium because we went way over. There's running the light, and then there's what I did.
Yeah. You ran the lights of the Dodger Stadium.
I ran all the lights of Dodger Stadium. Yeah, we
Can
did
you
not
tell us
leave.
What's that fine?
Oh man, it's over 100. Yeah,
100 G's just for having. You had a $100,000 party.
It was
Great.
Yeah, but you know what?
Hope it was worth it. It was
For the greatest night of my life,
Yeah, who
absolutely.
cares? Yeah, get
I've
clipped.
set money on fire for other stupid reasons, but that was like, nah.
Can you tell me some of the other stupid reasons you've let money on fire? What's some other?
I'll keep drinking and maybe ask me again in 15. All right. But yeah, we didn't leave Dodger Stadium until probably, at least for me, maybe 4 a.m, just because I was lit at that point, and we had a trailer back there, and we still had a VIP party, and I was just hugging all my friends, and there was it was so nice, and we're all back there reflecting like, wow, we did it. You know, we can't believe. So I'm talking to the director, the producers, and the management, and just everybody that was involved in the day-to-day that led up to that.
Wow.
And so, yeah, man, 4 a.m. and we got the Dodger people, and they're like, hey, you gonna start breaking that down?
Yeah, we'll think about it. It's funny to think though. It's like there's nothing coming. They don't got a game later that night. Chill out.
Yeah, no, it was Mother's Day weekend when it went down. It was May 7th. I think their game was that Monday or Tuesday then? Because they had a game
Two days
week.
later, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they had a game a couple days before that because it took 3 days to do a load in on that.
That's insane. God, well, I mean, but also, truly, and I mean this, what do you do next? Like, do you want to go bigger than that?
Oh, that's good.
Like, would you want to continue to like try to scale up and see how big you can go?
So the only issue I have with trying to go bigger is that does it take away from that moment at Dodger Stadium because it was so special and so big and so epic and it was at home? Do you take a chance on kind of maybe tarnishing that by attempting to duplicate?
I don't know.
You know,
what is that?
because of how impactful it was and how emotional and how good it felt, and you know, like how would you talk? Because even if let's say I went and did Soldier Field, all right, like okay, what's gonna be the? I mean, yeah, it may, you know, people showed up and you know, let's say hypothetically we sold it out, cool. I mean, but is it then? Oh, is it just another thing? I think that what made this special is that it's never been done. You know, it was the first time a comic tried it, and the first time a comic actually filled it, and then it was recorded for a special. So I mean, there were so many factors that made it that much more. You know, it's a home show, never been done, 25 years in the making. You know, it's just Netflix was involved. I mean, it was so many different things, and then it was the comedy festival happening. And so there's all these different shows happening in town. Chappelle was over at the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, that's right.
You know, Kreischer was in town. I asked Kreischer to be a special guest, but he couldn't because he had his own show that night. But he wanted to be part of it. There was so many different shows happening, and so the fact that we were still able to pull that off with the amount of talent that was happening, because you know you try not to step on each other's toes. So if you're performing somewhere, you know, and you see there's another name that could potentially pull from you. You either push yourself to the following week or try to come in the week before so that you're not
no overlap.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But not for that festival. Everybody was in town.
How many seats?
How many seats at
Dodger was it? Do you know how many people it was total?
It was between 45 and 50.
So many people.
And it was a number right in between that, right there.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll do next. Did you go to college?
No.
Because college football stadium.
I went City College. I dropped off friends.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I did.
LA City College? Is that where you went?
No, Long Beach City College.
Oh, Long Beach. Okay. I grew my comedy chops. I started in Long Beach. I mean, I moved here to Long Beach first. And I lived down in by Belmont Shore.
Okay.
That was my first spot that I ever lived.
That's a hell of a place to live in Long Beach.
It was a pin drop.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was like dudes I knew a guy that had a place down there and would let us sleep in his living room. It was like, that was my first stop to LA. I had no other option because we didn't know anybody in LA. So he was like, there's a guy that lives in this place that's near Long Beach, and you can stay on his lazy boy for a while. And I was like, I'll take it. And I had no idea how lucky I got that place was so. It was so cool and nice. I mean, I didn't know this guy was so nice. He didn't know me from a hole in the wall, but it was nice of him to do that. But I got a soft spot for Long Beach because it like housed me at the beginning of my move into California.
In here, we pour whiskey.
Hey, a lot of guys want a better sex life, all right? It's very tough for some men out there. 50%. That's half of the dudes you know have symptoms that get in the way of enjoying sex the way they want to enjoy it. But Roman is here to help, friends. Roman is the digital health clinic for men, addressing a variety of sexual health needs and offering genuine medication that helps achieve and maintain a strong erection. You got to get it strong. You got to keep it strong, and that's why Roman is here to help. They offer discreet wipes that help you last 4 times longer in bed. 4 times. So if you're a minute man, you're getting 4 minutes out. And if you last longer, you're going to get even longer. There's no shame in any game as long as you're a good and generous and giving lover. But Roman is offering these wipes that are going to help you last much longer in bed. It's going to be healthier and happier for you and your partner. In men with low T, that's low testosterone, getting testosterone levels back to normal can help increase your libido, and Roman offers a testosterone test. Includes lab processing as well, and if it's appropriate for you, treatment for low T is available. At Roman, there are no waiting rooms and no hassle. It's just a straightforward digital experience right from the comfort of your own home, because it's not fun to go to a doctor's office. And if medication is appropriate, testing will prove that Roman can help send you a package directly to your door in discreet shipping. Everything arrives discreet packaging. No one's going to know what you're getting. So your nosy neighbor isn't going to be like, oh, so what is he getting today? And it's got free 2-day shipping. Roman is incredible. A lot of my friends use Roman. I've used the wipes. It is very fun to last longer in bed. Even if you don't need to last longer, try it out. See how long you can go. See if you can go till the sun comes up. To learn more about how you can achieve your personal sexual health goals, go to ro.co/whiskey. That's ro.co/whiskey today to get 20% off your entire first order. That's ro.co/whiskey. Daily Fantasy is here with Prize Picks, ladies and gentlemen. Prize Picks is daily fantasy. It is incredible. If you are someone that likes to play fantasy, this is it for you. I really love Prize Picks. I've been using it for a while. Here's how it works. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they go score more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. 25x is incredible. There's no competing against other people. This is the best version of fantasy that I've ever seen. It's just you versus the projections that are available. They offer projections on any sport you watch, I promise. That you're like, well, they're not going to have it on NHL. Yeah, they do. They got NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, PGA, college football, men's college basketball, women's college basketball, soccer, WNBA, esports, NASCAR, tennis, disc golf. They got that on there. Euro basketball, cricket, and so much more. Go check it out. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. So if you're someone that likes to play, that's fast and it's easy. They got safe and fast and protected withdrawals, which is huge. If you're putting your money on the internet, everybody knows. Get a little sketchy on those other sites, not with Prize Picks. Currently operational in over 30 states and in Canada. All you got to do, if you want to compete against the projections, not against people, you can download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports right now. First-time users are going to receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code whiskey. Use my code whiskey. You deposit $100, Prize Picks going to give you $100. You deposit $50, Prize Picks going to give you $50. Don't forget to enter the promo code whiskey at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100.
Ginger. I like gingers.
And I love the Dirtbags. I used to go see what?
The college.
Long Beach State is the Dirtbags.
Yeah, that's the team. That's the team.
I used to go watch, and Jose Canseco used to pitch for the minor team there. Canseco was like an interim pitcher for a little bit for the minor team in Long Beach. We went and saw him twice. It was wild to watch him do that.
That was years ago.
Yeah, it was 2006 or 5, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But yeah, I guess you're right. The reason I ask about college is because, those stadiums get up to 100,000 plus seats. So it's like, that could be the next pinnacle for you is could you sell 100,000 tickets?
But then it's like, okay, what's it doing for comedy? What's it doing for, like, because you want to make sure that everyone is having a great experience, a great time, and if you're going to do something that big, you need to make sure that the screens, the sound, there's so many different things that could go wrong. Mm-hmm. And that's my fear, is that, man, you don't have a lot of control over certain situations, and you want to make sure that you're providing a good experience for people. You don't want people to regret, like, oh man, I should have just waited till his career went down and go see him at Helium in Philadelphia.
I want to watch him when he bombs.
You know what I mean? It's one of those, like, because I get it. There's something to be said about watching a comedy show in an intimate setting versus watching it. Because, like, for example, I've seen Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
I know Kevin. I've seen him in, a comedy club, and I've seen him at a football stadium. I saw him I was there when he did What Now?
Yeah.
In Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there. I was in the second row. And even sitting in the second row, I just remember how far away Kevin looked. And I'm like, dang, I'm in the second row. And he still looks far.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was one of those, like, I found myself looking at this giant screen more than anything else. And I'm like, okay, if I'm in the second row and it already feels this detached,
yeah,
like, how must it feel for people that are way up in the nosebleeds,
Yeah, but to play devil's advocate, I think some people being there is it just as much as anything else.
We were part of an event,
because that's
like that.
beautiful. I mean, you got to think people came to your show
and exactly
that did the same thing. It didn't have as great as seats as some other people, but the event is as powerful as anything. Like, for me, when I was a kid, even going to watch the Bulls games when I was a kid, watching Jordan play, and we would have terrible seats, but it just, like, didn't even matter. It was like being
you were there
to watch Jordan was wild. And when you left, like, everyone's emotion was the same. It was like, it was Jordan. I mean, there wasn't a game where I didn't feel like it was spectacular. And maybe it was a moment in time, because I've seen, LeBron and Kobe and it's great, but it never felt the same. But it did still feel back then, like, even if I was in the fucking tip top nosebleeds, still was like, I'm here watching Jordan. It didn't even matter, like, I never cared how far I was. So I think that still happens too at that level. But I know what you're saying. Sometimes it gets so big that it's like.
But I definitely feel like people made exceptions to certain things just because of what that night meant.
Yeah.
The fact that it was historic, never been done. Netflix is involved. It's being taped for a special.
Yeah.
It's just all these first time things that were happening.
Yeah. You employed a lot of babysitters that
nice.
night. You probably, I'm sure you gave a lot of people work, man. I bet you employed something like, at a minimum, 10,000 babysitters across Los Angeles.
Probably, yeah.
That's pretty impressive, man. That's, I mean, to think about it. Someone's like, is Fluffy creating jobs? Like, you better believe it, dude.
That night, definitely.
Yeah, big time. And also,
and paid a lot of overtime.
That's right.
Paid a lot of overtime.
Were there were people tailgating, by the way? That's what I thought about that. Were people tailgating out in the lot?
We had a thing where we wanted to make sure that we could start on time, because it's different for a baseball game. A baseball game, most of the time people show up whenever they want. So some people get there really early. Some people get there right when the game starts. Some people wait till after the national anthem. Some people show up in the fourth inning. So it's like whatever. But with the concert, it starts at a certain time.
Yeah.
Or it's supposed to start at a certain time.
Right.
So we knew that getting people in and then situated, and then there was issues with the ticketing system.
Ticketmaster was down or something like that?
Not that they were down, but, like, most of the tickets now are digital, and if there's issues with Wi-Fi, the signal, and
right.
it's that's a thing. There was a lot of people that couldn't get in.
Oh, really?
I found out, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Most of them were my people. Freaking guest list. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, and also, issues in the parking lot, getting people in for parking and stuff like that. So we did an event during the day and encouraged people to come out for the free event. There was a free event. I had a bunch of my Volkswagen buses set up, so people wanted to come see the car collection, or they wanted to come see just, random things. Just like a little mini carnival type of thing where people just show up and eat. There was food. So some people, I guess, were tailgating, not like a regular, like a football game kind of a thing.
Sure, no. But I would imagine your fans, you do have some LA hardcore LA
Oh,
fans
yeah,
that
yeah.
that needed to go drink and hang out beforehand.
And the beauty of it is that people were showing up in their baseball gear.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
They were still. It was, hey man, it's a home team, and I was all about it.
And did they give you they gave you your fluffy jersey? You've got your Dodger fluffy jersey enshrined somewhere at the house?
I've got yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I have a couple actually. I got a chance to throw out a couple first pitches, but they gave me a special one for that night.
That's what I was gonna say. You gotta have
Yeah.
they gotta have a
They gave me one just
special one.
for the night, and then of course the shirt that I wore, it was a custom shirt that I made that had the.
I love that.
little
Yeah, I
fluffy
saw the little Dodgers
dude
all
on
over it.
there.
And you're going to give that to me. He did say live on the show he's going to give that to me, and thank you so much. That's very nice of you, man.
Welcome.
Who's your favorite Dodger of all time?
Oh man, we got to go back to Fernando Valenzuela.
Venezuela's so dope.
Oh,
so
yeah.
good, man. I think because you're too young too.
Fernando Mania.
But when they first came over here, 6 or 7
from Brooklyn.
Yeah, 6 or 7, something like that, right? Because Dodger Stadium was in the 60s, early 60s, 62 or 3 or something like that. They built it, and for you, you're still younger than that, obviously. But for you, growing up in Southern California is wild because a brand new team was like given to this city and then enshrined in this town immediately. It almost got it because it left Brooklyn. Something about the Dodgers coming here and gaining that audience, specifically of like a lot of Latino fans kind of owning it as their own. It was such a cool thing to have happen to that team. So for you as a kid, that's got to be wild to like grow up with a homegrown team. They were literally remade in this town, because
They never felt like a transplant,
No, because all you read about is I like baseball, and everyone always talked about how Brooklyn. Those games would never even come close to selling out. I mean, they never would have enough fans to go see them, and people would complain, years later, being like, "Okay, that's a shame they ever left Brooklyn," but Brooklyn never really supported the team. And then the moment they came to LA, it was like they were kings. I mean, they were gods in this town, and they still are, in my opinion, the ultimate Los Angeles team. I mean, I know the Lakers' legacy is very important, but to me, when I think of Los Angeles, I immediately think of the Dodgers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, immediately. Like it's the first thing I've
Absolutely.
always, as a kid in Chicago, I always thought about it. It was like, that's the Dodgers. That's the Dodgers city. So,
And
again,
that stadium is one of the oldest.
yeah, it is right.
I
yeah.
want to say it's number 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's got to be 2 or 3 now.
I
Well,
want to
because
think it's either Wrigley, Fenway,
Wrigley and Fenway are two. We're pretty close. We're
and then
tied.
Dodgers.
You guys are probably one of the last bastions. I mean, after after Baltimore did its thing. Oh, she's walking around. She needs to get her exercise.
Come here.
17, by the way. She can go wherever she wants, by the way. And if she pees or poops in here, someone will clean it up. Not me, but someone will. That's what's good to know. God, 17 is so wild, huh?
Get over here.
And a full-bred Chihuahua? Is it full
She's
Chihuahua?
4 pounds.
4 pounds.
4 pounds.
That's nuts.
Sorry.
Do you ever lose her?
No.
Like around the house, I mean. Like you
I'm
just
not gonna
can't
lie.
find her?
One time we took a flight. We were at it was a private terminal, and I went to use the bathroom, and I told the guys, "Hey, keep an eye." Mm-hmm. And she was quick, and so she jumped out of her little bed thing, and hey, where's she at? And she was actually in an office down the hall. And they're like, and someone came
Doing work.
holding her.
Yeah.
Someone came holding her. They're like, "Does this belong to someone?" I'm like, "Oh my god."
So only
yeah.
one time.
Only one time.
Only one time. Never again. Never, ever again. Do you travel with her everywhere you go?
Yeah, she's been to over 35 states. I have her, and I have another Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Named Vinny. He's twice her size, which is why I didn't bring him.
Yeah.
Yeah, with her, she's a Palm Pilot. I can carry her.
Yeah,
have
but
her
I mean, you
wherever.
could have brought them. You could have brought them all, man. We got a pup, so I'm a big fan of the dogs, man. Not a fan of cats. Can't do the cats, sadly.
Cats. I respect cats. I respect cats enough to not have one.
Yeah.
Because they're a little bit too independent. Whereas this requires all my
All your
love
attention.
and attention.
That's
yes.
right. Well, also, my mom is allergic to cats, and I have the same kind of thing. When I get around them, I get crazy.
Yeah, and
itchy,
if I
can't.
get scratched by a cat, it's over.
it's over. That's it. That's
My
the
arm
end.
My arm puffs up. It looks like I have an extra vein growing out of my arm. That little.
Easy to find if you give blood. When you said the buses on stage, like the VW buses, I'm a car guy as well. How many do you have? How many VW buses do you have?
Including the ones that are in the process of being restored, probably around between 30 and 35. God. I tell everybody it's a Jay Leno starter kit. Jay's the one that I blame Jay. Jay's the one that got me started on cars.
It's all your fault, Jay Leno.
Yeah, I went to go visit him.
Buses is so that's a ton, man.
Yes, and I did that in a matter of like 5 years.
Wild.
So I didn't have any Volkswagens. My first bus was a 1968 Volkswagen bus that I had when I was like 19 years old. And what happened is I was hanging out with Jay, and we were having a conversation about investments and money and stuff like that. And he was just being, like, hey, man, are you taking care of yourself? He saw that I started doing more, and he's like, hey, how are you handling yourself? What are you getting into? And he brought up the thing about cars and how if I like cars, then it's kind of like an investment. When they're classic cars and it's the right car, then you can enjoy it. And if you ever decide to sell it, it would appreciate in value versus buying something brand new that would depreciate. And so it's like you enjoy your investment, and it's there. It's not like something that's tied up in some stock or some Bitcoin or something that you can't see or enjoy.
Right.
And so what wound up happening is at the time, my girlfriend, she was like, every time she'd see her first car around town, she used to have a 1979 Trans Am. And so I talked to Jay's guys, and I says, hey, man, can you guys help me get a 1979 Trans Am for my girlfriend? I want to get her something for Christmas. And I think that she'd, get a kick out of it. And sure enough, they found it. They found it quick. And I didn't have anywhere to hide it. So Jay let me keep it at his place.
At the garage.
Yeah. And we wound up getting my girl her Trans Am. And then I told the guys, I go, hey, man, you guys think you could help me find a Volkswagen? Because now that she's got her first car back, I want to see if maybe I can get my first car.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what do you like? And I told them, and 2 days later, they had a Volkswagen bus.
That was and then the addiction began.
And then they said, let us know if you want anything else. And then I said, well, if you come across something, let me know. Mm-hmm. And then the phone calls just started happening.
Of course.
Car after car after car after car.
The first hit is free. And then they're like, hooked.
I had just bought a building, and it was originally intended for merchandise. I do a lot of merch on the road, and so it was one of we need a place to store everything. And the cars started coming, and the merch started getting pushed to the back, and next thing I know, they're pushed into a back building.
Yeah, to buy another building for merch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one filled up with cars, man. We got to put the T-shirts in the other one.
So it's so it's one building cars, and the other building's merch.
Wild. How many cars are in your collection in total?
It's under 50.
Okay.
It's under 50, but mostly Volkswagens, and then I have a muscle car collection. So I have two 69 Chevelles. One's an original all the way, and the other one's resto mod. So it's it's pimped out. It can keep up on the freeway. It's got air conditioning, all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
Gadgets, whistles, Bluetooth. Right. I have a 1991 Camaro. It's not an IRA, it's a Z28. I have a 5.0 1991. I have a 1968 Camaro. And then I also got myself a 1979 Trans Am.
Nice. What's the newest car you have?
And I also have a 1982 Mercedes-Benz turbo diesel. I call it the Rocky Balboa car. It's the car that chased Rocky Balboa in Rocky IV.
Right.
So remember the Russians are Mr. Balboa, we are your chaperone. And so Rocky's running, and they're chasing him in the car. Right. That's the car.
You got the Rocky.
I got the Rocky car.
What's the newest age car do you have? Do you like any new cars, or you specifically like older cars?
I got into Dodge for a minute, so I bought the Hellcat, and then I had the Trackhawk, and then I had a Chrysler 300, and
Trackhawk is nice.
I bought the Demon, and I found myself not using the Demon because I was afraid to drive it because it was just, it had the fat tires on it for the track, and I wasn't taking the car to the track, and I don't want to do freaking 180 on the 405. It's
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it. I had it for a couple years, and I only put 1,000 miles on it.
And got rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sold it recently at the Barrett-Jackson auctions.
Oh, those are great. I used to work those when I was in college.
Oh, man, so much fun. They're addicting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the guy starts, come over here. And it's like it's a party, dude. And you're just excited. You're caught up in the moment. And they start pointing at you.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah. And at the end, you're like, I paid how much for that?
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's do it.
I want to see the philosophical breakdown about when the moment they realize that a fast-talking guy spewing numbers can just get you excited to spend more money. Because there's so much psychology behind
there is
that, and then some guy's like, $100,000.
There is. It's a whole show. I mean, you get caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Yeah.
Getting caught up in the moment.
It's brilliant.
But it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
It's a lot of fun until you got to pay at the end.
Yeah, that's when it gets
They
hard.
expect you to pay. You know, if you buy something, it's like, whoo.
Yeah, I used to work valet when I was at ASU when I was in college, and they used to let us, you know, like if you were doing well schedule wise, if you weren't taking days off and you were like a good employee, they would let you work valet at Barrett Jackson, and that was so much money because you know you get to drive fun cars, and everyone that came with a fun car always wanted to show off, so they'd tip you, you'd get big cash. And the best part was, you know, all you had to do was say something nice to a guy in a car that you wanted to drive, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, take it around," you know, because it's basically on a track out there, and they're like, "Yeah, go whip it around, go ahead, do whatever you want." 19-year-old idiot, you know. So I got to drive around. I mean, I don't know, every one of my little dream cars back then. I mean, I like different phases as I've gotten older. But when I was young, I loved BMW. I always loved German motors, so I was obsessed with the M3s when I was a kid. And then getting to drive one of those, you know, when I was in college. And then it's just so funny how you get addicted to the next and you want to see what the next thing is, the next thing is, the next. That's why I'm not collecting cars yet, because I'm scared of. I'm scared.
Yeah,
of
because then 1 leads to 2, 2 leads to 10, 10 leads to 30. Yeah,
it gets scary. Is there a car that you own that you've never driven at all, that just sits, that you've never once driven?
I have a 1958 23 window bus that's as close to original as possible. I mean, it's, you know, we there's nothing trick about it. It's, you know, the motor is like the way that it was supposed to be. Everything is set to original specs on it. Mm-hmm. And I've maybe driven it twice.
What?
And
2 times, just a couple miles on it?
Yeah, just a little bit. And it's slow. I mean, the power on it, it's probably, what like 36 horsepower?
I was going to say, got to be under 50, yeah.
I mean, you know, you could do 15 miles an hour in a Jack-in-the-Box drive-through. I mean, all day. But it's really pretty, and it's original. So there's no chrome. It's not, you know, because all my other cars are chromed out.
Sure.
They're chromed out.
Sexy looking.
Some are lowered. Some have, you know, like I have one bus that I tricked out, and I put a Subaru engine in it, called a Subaru Swap.
Oh, nice.
And so I took out the engine that it had, put a Subaru one in it, so it just
Turbo?
Like oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great.
So it's, you know, it'll go up a hill, it'll go down a hill. You can pass cars. It's pretty awesome.
Right on.
And that's always funny to see in traffic, because cars get passed up by a Volkswagen bus, and they're like, "The fuck is, you know,
Yeah.
something wrong with my car?"
Yeah. What gear am I
Yeah.
even in?
But that one bus, I'm telling you, I've driven it twice, and so it's just chilling.
In here, we pour whiskey.
Hey, if you're like me, you get up every morning and the first thing that you do is make yourself a cup of coffee. I love warming up the house and warming up my insides with some delicious, delicious coffee. And Trade Coffee is incredible. They're a coffee subscription service that makes it so simple to discover new coffees and make your best cup of coffee right at home every single day. This is what I do like about them. It gives you a variety. You're not getting the same coffee every single week all the time. You're trying new stuff. They trade partners with the nation's top-rated independent roasters to send you coffee that they know you're going to love. It's going to be fresh to your home and on your preferred schedule. Whether you already know what you like or you're new to this specialty coffee and you want some help, Trade makes it easy and convenient to discover new coffees. Trade sent me a bunch of stuff. I've tried 3 different versions of coffee, and all of them I have loved very, very much. Now, look, I'm a sucker. I love it. But I'm always open to try new kinds of coffee, new varieties, new flavors, perfectly curated. Trade Coffee, it's the perfect gift for loved ones as well. They make it easy with their digital gifting options for last-minute shoppers or their coffee and equipment bundles for something under the tree. Treat yourself or the coffee lover in life with Trade Coffee. Right now, Trade is offering our listeners a total of $30 off a subscription and access to limited-time holiday specials at drinktrade.com/whiskey. That is drinktrade.com/whiskey for $30 off. drinktrade.com/whiskey. Go get yourself some delicious coffee. Hey, I'm not a fan of old, big, boxy dress shirts. My dad's golf shirts and dress shirts, I always hated that, and that's why I'm a big fan of MIZZEN in Maine. MIZZEN in Maine has sent me a bunch of different varieties of different shirts, and the golf shirts are actually my favorite. But if you're someone who likes comfort and style, wants to look just as good in a meeting as out afterwards having drinks, MIZZEN in Maine are the inventors of the performance fabric dress shirt. It's incredible. They combine the comfort and flexibility of your favorite athletic wear with the fit and style of a custom dress shirt, lightweight, breathable, and moisture wicking. That's huge if you're a sweaty petty. MIZZEN in Maine's clothing will have you looking great and feeling great. They make really comfortable dress shirts that you really have to try to believe. And truthfully, it's impressive. I did think, there's all these different companies that are coming out with new kinds of dress shirts. I've tried all of them. I'm not a huge dress shirt guy to begin with, but these are so comfortable and stylish, which is a big thing for me. A lot of times there's such a big lack of style. And I love MIZZEN Maine. Their golf shirts are truly my favorite. They're so comfortable, and the fit is incredible. If you want them fitted, MIZZEN Maine makes wonderful stuff that you can wear on the course, at the office, out for drinks, or just kicking it at the crib. You can look stylish. So if you want the best cold weather clothing this holiday season, check out MIZZEN in Maine. Right now, if you go to MIZZENinMaine.com, use promo code whiskey, you're going to receive $25 off any regular price order of $130 or more. That's $25 off when you go to MIZZENANDMAIN.com. Use that promo code whiskey.
Ginger. I like gingers.
So you said before, and I want to know, what's the biggest burn of money? Was it one of these cars was the biggest burn of money that you've done?
The biggest burn of, as far as cars or just in general?
Well, go give me both. What's the biggest burn of car money that you had?
Biggest burn of car money. I think just, a Volkswagen bus is not cheap. So that's $100K automatically.
Jesus.
I've never spent more than $2 for a car.
Right.
So there's never been a car that, I might have spent that much money with, gas and fixing it and fixing it and fixing it.
Yeah.
And, painted this or do this or that with time, but never an initial let's do this. Like I've never gone for a Bentley or a Rolls
No
or
exotics,
G-Wagon or
Right.
something,
Right. That's not your flavor.
It's not that it's not my flavor. I just, man, I feel, even now it still feels weird to put that much into just one. So, for example, at the Barrett-Jackson auction, I bought an Audi R8, which is normally, brand new, easily over $2.
Yeah.
But when I got it for $60, and I'm like, you know what? I got no problem paying $60 for an R8
Sure. Was it V10 or the V8?
V8,
Yeah.
and it had 30,000 miles on it.
No, that's great.
And so I'm like, okay. So I got in the car. The leather was a little beat up, so spent about $5-6 to get the leather redone, so it looks brand new on the inside.
Yeah.
Had a good mechanic look at the car, work it over a little bit. Had a guy detail it. Hey man, it looks great.
You're good to go.
Yeah, and
60's good.
I got no problem. In all, probably about $80K that I've spent on that car, and the car drives like a new car.
That's because that was a lot. What's the biggest burn that you've thrown away?
Dodger Stadium all day.
Yeah, that was the
every
biggest
day.
burn
That's
you've ever
the
had.
biggest burn of money. That was millions.
And you were like, I don't have a
Millions.
choice. I have to.
But at the end of the day, it was it's a Netflix special.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a Netflix special. It was
Yeah.
the greatest night of my life, and I'd do it all over again.
Do you think you might do it more than once?
Again,
Who knows?
you know what? I don't think I would, because that night was so amazing. It would have to be a different venue
Sure.
if I did it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go through that whole, because there was a lot of issues backstage. Trying to just get everything
Lined
situated.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The logistics on that is crazy. I think people don't understand. Like there's even logistics on a theater, on a small theater. There's stuff that needs to work the right way and get figured out. There's you need stage manager. The club days, you just got to walk out and have a good time. When you're working out new stuff now, where do you work out? Like where's your workout?
So my first show since the special, because the special came out a couple of weeks ago, I went to La Jolla and I went to the Comedy Store. That was my
nice.
first round of shows. I did 4 shows.
Nice little
I did
200
4
seater.
shows. Oh man, it felt great.
It's great.
I walked in, maybe 10 minutes before I had to be on stage.
Right.
I had my openers up there that were doing their thing, and I walk in, and I was in the room as soon as you walk in that club, because they knocked down the walls. So as soon as you walk in the front door, you're in the showroom.
Oh, they knocked down the back walls.
They knocked down the back walls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
by the bar is it's all open.
It's open. It looks really cool.
Wow. I haven't been
It
in
looks really cool.
since before COVID. So
The only issue is you can hear when they're making margaritas. That's the only part that sucks. You're like, yeah, you're like,
yeah. Well, you used to be able to hear it a little bit sometimes when you're on stage because that little cubby back there, but that is funny to think. Yeah, that's right, because it's wide. It's kind of like how why can't I think of it? Not punchline. Punchline's like that, where you can see the bar.
Oh, punchline. Yeah, the punchline.
Yeah, you feel the bar.
Both punchlines. Yeah, you see the bar.
Right.
You see the bar,
You
the
can hear-
bartender, everything.
Yeah, and then some drunk dude, no, you was about
Yeah.
to start it. You're like, come on, you
That's not what I ordered.
exactly. Yeah, but I like that, dude. There's something about those days where
I had so much fun,
So
at
fun.
the club, and it felt great to do that. And I told the crowd, I go, this is my first show back since the special has come out, and this is because I retired everything.
Right.
Everything that was on that special is gone.
Done.
And so I told the crowd that night, I go, who saw the special? Okay, good. All that material you saw, it's all gone. So this is brand new.
Wow. And what do you how much time are you starting with when you go back? Like, do you have a bevy of stuff that you're ready to kick, or you're kind of still feeding it out as it's coming to you when you're doing like La Jolla and stuff.
Well, it's material that didn't necessarily make it to the special.
Sure.
Stuff that's I've been working on. I always have material that I interchange in the shows, and sometimes you got to find something that fits.
Yeah.
And maybe it might not fit now, but maybe it'll fit later.
Right.
And so that's material that that I'm using right now. And so the show right now, before it was about 2 hours. Right now I'm coming in right around 115 to 110.
Wild. 155 to me seemed so light. I couldn't believe that. I was like, that's not. And then the other specials are still an hour and a half, an hour and 20, hour 40. I mean, would you ever do a special less than an hour and a half, or you love that number of 90 minutes?
I love that number, but at the same time, it's like it became expected.
Right. Now your fans
Because-
are like, dude.
No, not just that,
Better
but
be
it
more
became
than an hour.
became expected by Netflix. So originally Netflix was like, well, we want an hour special. And so when I turned it in, the first show that I did was I'm Not Fat, I'm Fat, I'm Fluffy. It was called I'm Sorry for What I Said When I Was Hungry. It's the special I shot in Chicago. And that special came in at about 135. And they're like, oh, that's way too long. Or, the algorithms say that there's drop off and this and that and the retention,
Yeah, right.
So like, can you cut it down? I'm like, well, man, I don't want to chop it down. That's like,
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, look, if you just get it under 130, bring it under 130. And so I had to, I knock off some time, and I want to say it came in at like 129 or some change, and they let it go, and they came back afterwards and they said, you know what, the people stuck around to see your whole thing. It was really high. So, your next special, now we want 90. And I'm like, you mother.
Yeah.
So,
you did that, man.
In essence,
Yeah.
I think they got a free special because, if you're only supposed to do an hour and you turned in freaking
Yeah.
2 90-minute specials, they got a freebie.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
In
Well,
there.
that's on you, man. You did
That's
that.
that's my fault, but
Yeah, you made your bed.
I love the fact that I was not restricted on the time. And now, so I pushed the envelope and I says, all right, this one's going to go longer than 130. They were cool at 130 already. But, by making it the event that it was, plus it was the first time that Netflix called it a Netflix comedy event. It wasn't a Netflix comedy special. It was a Netflix comedy event. They let me have that, which I thought was really cool.
Did you ask for that?
I did ask for that because I
Okay.
told Robbie, I go, dude, man, you can't put this in the same category as some of these specials that are out there, man. I goes, this is not a regular special. This
Yeah.
is an event,
Right.
and Netflix is putting their name on it. It's not something you guys licensed that I did. It wasn't a special that I did and, that somebody else put out there and now you're licensing it. You guys are doing this.
Right. And it's right. And it's different. There's something.
yeah.
It's different.
So I said, just, you want to do something for me? Let me have that.
That's so funny. Just a word. That's all you want is a word.
Because it changes everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guarantee you now other comics can be like, all right, so, I want it to say event too.
A Netflix special, a Netflix comedy experiment. People are going to now change
Nice,
the word
right?
to something else. Yeah. A Netflix comedy razzmatazz.
Razzmatazz.
Yeah. A new Netflix joint. That's great, man. Honestly, and I think those things do make a difference, particularly for you as the performer, right? As the artist, the creator. It shifts the way you feel about it as well, because it made it more important to you, which carries a lot of weight because you care. You're not someone that's just throwing stuff. Up there.
Yeah, I wasn't just trying to get a check. I was trying to put my heart and soul into this thing.
Right.
And I'm like, man, this is, this thing's gonna live forever on the network. So it's like, hey,
Yeah, you gotta. What now? How much time now before you go back on tour and before you do a tour again?
well, I told my peoples. I have my peoples.
Called them my peeps.
My peeps. That I wanted to, let me go back to the clubs. Let me have fun. Let me just,
Yeah.
because the clubs, there's no pressure. There's absolutely no pressure. The hardest thing to do at a club show is get through when they drop the checks and the whole room stops.
Yeah.
And then you just gotta wait those 2 minutes, and then it's back to normal. That's the hardest thing.
Check drop.
And if there's a heckler, you see exactly who's heckling you. It's not like at an arena where it's hearing a sound and you're like, it came from darkness. At a club, you're like, that dude's being a dick.
Right.
Please,
Please,
all right,
get him
got
out.
He's out.
You didn't have any hecklers at Dodger Stadium.
And if I did, I don't.
You wouldn't have known.
I wouldn't have known.
They had a bullhorn.
Yeah, they would have needed something because, and I could see everybody in front of me, which was really, really cool. And I wanted to make sure that another thing I asked for was for the stage to be low.
Yeah. Not to be too high above the front.
I needed it to be low enough to where somebody could actually reach me.
Oh, cool.
And you would think that in this day and age,
I was just gonna say,
the
just
last
security?
thing you want,
Yeah.
because security was real that night. We were, this was coming on the heels of the Chappelle thing and the Chris Rock,
Right.
So it was like, are you sure you want to do that to yourself?
Yeah.
And it's like, there was enough security there where if somebody would have gone for it, there'd be enough time to react.
Also, you're not
I'm a little harder to
I
take
think
down.
You can handle your own.
I'm
too.
a little harder to take down,
Yeah, I think you'll slug back. I feel like you'd swing back. I feel like you could stand up for yourself just fine.
Just a tad.
Just a tad, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
What is your only because I don't, all I know of you as a comedian, like as outside of that, like what's your nitty-gritty hobby? Like what's your getaway from comedy? What's the thing that like takes you out of it? And the pup life, huh?
Yep.
Pup life is it.
My doggies. That's why they go with me everywhere. When I go up on stage, that's probably the only time they're not with me.
That's it.
They're spoiled because they, most of the time, if you have a pet, you go to work and you're away from your pet for at least 12 hours. They get you for half the time.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys,
Full time.
Full time.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm fortunate because I've got to spend more time with my pets than most people do, and that's one of those things where it's like, look at her, right? Just chill.
Licking away.
Just yeah.
What was it like this when you were a kid? Did you guys always have pets? Is that why you have such an attachment, you think?
My sister gave me a Chihuahua when I was 12 years old, so I've had dogs since 12.
Yeah.
So yeah.
She gave it to you for your birthday or something like that?
I don't remember what the occasion was. I just remember I woke up and there was a dog on me.
And that was it.
Yeah,
From
she
then
put
you
the
were
dog on the bed and I was like, oh my God.
So you were you were hooked
I've been
from the
hooked.
jump. How many have you had? Do you know?
This one, she's the attachment's real. Let me see. I've had probably about 5.
5. All Chihuahuas, yeah? Mm. Yeah,
And
Would you ever stray? Would you do a non-Chihuahua or no?
Well, it's funny because my son, his girlfriend just gave him a pit bull, and pit bull's got the bad rep and everything. That pit bull is she's such a sweetheart, but she's big. I mean, massive.
Yeah.
And she's only like 5 months old.
Oh wow.
And huge. Like
Big
I had
paws.
her on me yesterday, and it's just like, she's easily 6 times this size.
Yeah.
Like her paw is the size of Risa's head. You know what I mean? It's just a big dog. And
Yeah.
sweetheart. And I'm like, oh man.
But it's nice to her.
No. She's not about it. She's not about it. The Chihuahuas are not about it.
Yeah.
The pit bull wants to play with everybody. But it was the first time I was like, oh man, like really interacting with another dog. Like the dog just connected with me. Like I was playing with a dog, and we were there with a trainer because I want to make sure that that everything's cool. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
This dog's gonna be probably as strong or stronger than my son.
Right.
And so I need to make sure that everything's cool. But I thought about it afterwards. I was like, man, what would it be like to have a non-Chihuahua? Because these are attitude. Anything you've heard about Chihuahuas is freaking true.
Right.
They are angry. They nip. They got attitude.
Mm-hmm.
They're very protective and possessive.
Yeah. Okay. That I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very like this is my person or my.
Oh, especially
space.
if guys can get close, but if a girl tries to get close,
Forget about it.
this one, forget it.
It's just gonna bite a woman.
If you
that
own
comes
a
up.
vagina, stay away from my dog, because she's like, nah, bitch, go.
What about your girl? Is she cool with her or no?
Well, I don't have a girl, so that's why.
Oh, okay, you're
Yeah,
good.
no,
You're
that's why.
free.
This is the girl I have right
Then
here.
you're
So
free,
she's
man.
like, yeah, don't even try it.
So when you do start dating people, that's got to go to the Risa pass, huh? You gotta
So
take a pass.
There's been a couple times where I'm sorry, she caught me talking to someone, and she'll walk up and she'll dig right into my leg. She'll just straight dig into my leg, like, don't act like you don't see me. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I'll pick her up, and usually, like when I pick her up, she's like this. But if there's like a girl, she's just fixated right on.
And will she start growling and stuff?
Won't growl, but she's just like watching.
Locked in. Yeah.
And if the girl's like, "Ooh, she's so cute, let me pet her," right away, just
Yeah. Don't do that.
not today,
Don't do that.
not today, because she looks she looks
Yeah.
sweet.
She looks innocent.
She looks sweet, and of course, I could pet her and do whatever all I want. But if a girl tries to touch her,
Yeah, it's over. Well, I'm glad.
and she has no teeth,
I'm glad you brought her. No, really?
not one tooth. But man, she could do something.
Ruthless
to you.
toothless there.
Yeah, ruthless toothless.
Ruthless toothless. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on the show. It means a lot. I do think people who haven't seen it need to watch it. It's a feat, if nothing else, Like it's just a feat of impressive magnitude to do a special in a stadium as iconic and historic as Dodger Stadium. I think that's amazing. Go watch Stadium Fluffy now on Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, I don't know, steal a password from a friend. Can they still let you do that? Are they still barring people from sharing?
You know
too many
what?
times?
They nailed me the other day. I remember something popped up on my phone because I think I've got one too
Many people? Yeah. We do too.
Yeah,
We share it with
so
my
I
whole
was like,
family.
Netflix is like, you're done.
Now they're cracking down,
You're done.
man. Yeah, they're cracking down. Well, go get it. Go watch it. It is great. I'm excited to see what else you're going to come up with.
Yeah,
what
and
the-
if
what the
no
next
one's
thing is.
ever seen my stuff, all my stuff's available online for free. You
Go
can
get
find
it. It's all there.
All you gotta do is Google the word fluffy.
Yeah.
If you Google the word fluffy, I'm the number one thing that pops up. I've branded myself that hard.
Yeah.
Where I come up before bunnies, quilts, comforters, cotton candy. I am the number one search
And you're made of all that stuff.
in the world.
Oddly enough.
Yeah, that's my claim right there.
Well, because your TV show was called what? Was called
Mr. Iglesias.
Okay, Mr.
It was the first
Iglesias.
time I actually wanted to. The idea was when I did the sitcom, I wanted to put focus on my last name. No one, I mean, just because it's Iglesias, no one ever says, "Hey, that's that guy," that Gabriel Iglesias. It's always Fluffy.
Yeah.
Fluffy took over.
Well, you did
Fluffy
that though,
took
right?
over,
Though,
yeah.
didn't you kind of brand it? So
I
much?
branded it so much that it beat out Iglesias. So I figured, all right, let me do this show where I have to have the name on there.
Right. That way it's stamped in a little bit.
That's why, yeah.
My buddy Jesus Trejo did your show.
Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
That's my boy. I love that guy.
Trejo's
He's
funny.
So funny, man. Such a funny
Trevor's
dude.
funny, and he's finally over his fear of dogs.
Is he?
Yeah.
But now,
Oh, yeah,
like when he
yeah.
comes to hang with you, he's okay.
Oh
with
yeah,
it?
yeah. She used to freaking scare him, but he's at a good point now where
To be scared of this 4-pound dog is very funny to me because it's just even at her height would not be so scary to me. Give it a bite, maybe just a little nip.
right.
So barely a nip. Well, check Fluffy out when he's coming around to your city to work out what will be, I'm sure, another magnificent hour. We end the show the same way. You look in that camera
Oh,
right
by finishing
there.
the whiskey? Yeah, I got it.
Well, you don't have to. Oh, you can do
No,
if you want to polish it off.
It's going down.
Oh, there it is. Oh, that's amazing. That's incredible. One big gulp. We ended with one word or one phrase. Look in that camera now and give me one word or one phrase to end the episode for the rest of the time.
DUI.
In here, we pour whisk, 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 whisk.
You were that creature in the ginger beard.
Sturdy,